everybody. Welcome to Broadish, where we chop up the very best topics. Let's jump right in on this week. It's been an absolutely crazy week. I think we can all agree on that. I am going to start right in on hell no. This is the hell no section of today. And I want to start with the plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Governor Gretchen, you guys saw that, right?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay, here's my thing about this, all right? Besides the fact that white folks are get out in each other, okay? Because I was like, oh my God, y'all just putting each other in the sunken place. Like, that sucks. That's when we know it's bad, Lord. But what got me was that there was a sheriff, the Barry County Sheriff, Dart Leaf. They're urging him to resign because here was his response. Here's his response to it. He said, a lot of people are angry with the governor and they want her arrested. So they're trying to arrest her. Or was it even a kidnapping attempt?
Yeah, you can't just make a citizen's arrest to a governor. Like, you can't just be like...
Word! I was like, so my first thought, I was like, oh, okay. So can Black Lives Matter citizen arrest you? Can Antifa come in and arrest you? Can anybody in the United States of goddamn America get pissed off at your policies and just come and citizen arrest you with some guns and a bunker with some handcuffs and tied to a chair? Like, where are we?
Yeah.
Like, this is a hell no. I'm like, hell no. Like,
and also that it was a woman. Like, you think they would try to do that to a man? Like, why is the kidnapping gonna be a woman? Like, they think we're just so like, oh, take me.
Yeah, like is it as if it's acceptable? Like, you hit on something, Felicia. It's like it's acceptable to kidnap a woman that's pissing you off.
Exactly.
It's acceptable to kidnap a woman in power who's pissing you off. Can you imagine if there was a plot uncovered to kidnap 45's orange ass by some Black Lives Matter? Are you kidding me?
We could pray.
I know, right? You could pray, but I'm just like, hell to the goddamn no. We have gone so far that we have people as a sheriff, like who I almost have no words. What do y'all think about this?
I thought there were two things that were particularly interesting. One, these militia guys, whatever they are, they wanted to take her from Michigan and have her come to Wisconsin, where they thought that there was a trial already in progress. Like, if you had any intelligence, wouldn't you like see the docket of the courts and be like, oh, I guess there's no trial? Like,
it's right in the lobby. It's right in the lobby.
What was in their mind that they're like, Wisconsin is having a trial, let's take her over there? Like, so this is kidnapping across state lines. That's dumb number two.
Word.
And then the second thing was their mugshots. I don't mean to be racist against white people. Some of my best friends are white, but they all look the same. They all had the same stylist. They had a square head, bad facial hair, and then like some Supercuts haircut. Like, it was.
But child, they didn't even look
white people. I might have to object to that.
but they didn't even look like regular schmegular white folks. They look like mad inbred. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did not look like my neighbors. They look crazy.
I think we're used to good-looking white people in New York and Los Angeles and San Francisco, but people can be ugly of all races. Like, it's not.
There's fugly all out there.
So people who don't, keep up with fashion trends, this is how they look. And that's, I'm sure there's some Indians that don't look good either. But I think it's a difference between living in a city and living in a place where you don't get access to a real stylist. That shows the inequality in America.
So they're basic haircuts. That's the crime. I just felt like I cannot even, Black people and people of color, killed unarmed over traffic stops. They didn't kill this brother, but he was the executive designer for Versace. They detained him for jaywalking in Beverly Hills. Like, had him over to the side, like with guns, not gun on him, but like hand on the gun the whole time. But this sheriff is like, maybe they wanted to citizen arrest her. Like, I feel like white women should be pissed. It should be white women that should be absolutely pissed and infuriated that this excuse is even given. women on the whole should be pissed, but white women should be pissed. This is BS.
White women aren't allowed to get pissed anymore.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. No, honey, F all that. That's just the way to silence you. If you're not acting crazy, trying to Karen somebody out, you can tell them they can kiss the vanilla cakes, baby boy. Kiss the vanilla cakes.
Vanilla cake sounds delicious. I love that.
Where is
so
Karen
hungry
when
right
you see
now.
her?
Well, thank God she's okay. And
I love when they portrayed her on SNL though. That was hilarious. Last spring.
oh, I missed that one. I have to go back and look at it.
But she was like, "You can call me a bitch from home." No, I love her. I love her, and to me, like they said they were going to try her. That whole case, the whole court thing, Dhaya, they were going to try her themselves. Like they were just going to have court, like racist people's court. We're just going to have a racist people's court, and
wow, they just took the law in their own hands, basically.
Yeah,
we're going to kill her. They were going to kill her.
It's insane.
And their whole thing was they were going to have 200 men storm the Capitol. They were going to kidnap her and her family from her vacation home. And as soon as they got her, they were going to storm the Capitol and take over the Capitol.
yeah. I mean, it's again a reminder of how screwed up the United States of America is.
It probably stems from the problem that not that it's a problem, but our Constitution has the right for people to bear arms, meaning the right for us to overthrow a government. So I think they thought they were going to do a coup d'etat of the governor.
They did. They really did think that. And I just honestly, like, just to get down to the bare bones, like, as an American, I am highly offended. I really am. Like, I know I sound all like, I am, like, despite, like, there are many problems I see with the government, but I am patriotic. I am patriotic about this country because a lot of people built this country and we continue to build this country. So I don't like it when people like that are just like, oh no, there's no rules. Let's move on. We're moving on to Fight Me. I was on social media the other day and I saw this woman. She has like a little advice kind of column. And she really was honestly talking about, I invited 100 people to my wedding and 93 people showed and the other 7 didn't. And that was $200 a plate. So I'm going to send them a bill. What do you guys think?
I think she's justified in doing that. If they RSVP and put her at cause, well, then again, are they sending her the present though? Because the present cancels out the wedding costs, right? So you send the present, then you don't need a bill.
Never does. Unless you're throwing really cheap weddings.
I just feel like Fight Me, but a wedding is an expensive party you throw for yourself. Nobody owes it to come. You want people to come, but you're going to send them a bill for not coming? Like,
you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of guys that go on dates, and if there's no second date, they'll send you a Venmo request to pay for half of your dinner.
No way, guys do that shit?
What? No one is doing that now.
No. This is going to go to next week's hell no.
I know.
Yeah.
How dumb do we think we are if we don't want to go out with them? That we're actually going to pay for the dinner?
Yeah. So they'll send a Venmo request being like, you didn't want to go out again and I paid for dinner, so we should go Dutch. So I feel like people are too petty about money. Like it's just like, you can't do that.
I don't know. Now that I think about it, I'm not as outraged after I gave it a minute, because if guys, especially in the age of Tinder where you're going on so many first dates, it depends. Is it just a coffee and you're billing me for $5.43, or is it and it's now $100 bill, right? Because if they're going out for these dinners and the girl is not interested, like the reason why they are paying for you is because they want to proceed further. It's arguable why is the onus on the men to always pay if there's no future for it. We make money now too, and so I can
equal rights for women. We should all pay.
I get it, but you asked her out. If you asked her out, you're paying.
But she didn't say who asked who out though.
Oh,
Also,
okay. All right.
If these men are so upset about having to pay and not getting their money's worth, they should be advocating for equal pay in their workplace. So give me a list of meetings that you go to. Like, do you go and you, when you interview another client, do you tell them, I'm going to pay you the same amount as a man? Do you look at your salary and go over to your colleague and say, I make more than you, I'm going to take a cut? Unless he's taking a super cut for the team, he's going to pay for dinner.
My argument is more that women have to spend so fucking much on looking good on these
Thank
days.
you.
I have like these fucking burn marks on my fucking skin right now because I went for a chemical peel to make myself look prettier because I'm about to go on a few dates soon. Okay, so clothing, hair, makeup, that's all into the dinner bill, guys. You pay for that shit.
I just read a quote from Michelle Obama saying like how annoying it was that she had to change so much attention was paid on her clothes and her dress and her makeup whenever she went out, and Barack literally wore the same tuxedo and no one mentioned anything at every event.
Never. But seriously, like when it comes to this wedding thing, like it really offends me. Like I find it very offensive because number one, if I go to your wedding and you get divorced within a year, do I get my gift back? No. No, I bought a dress, I got heels, I might have traveled, hotel room, gift, all kinds of nine. And then to get to your wedding with a cash bar and then you get divorced within a year, I want all my shit back. But I don't say anything.
I almost did ask for my gift back once. What happened was this woman was getting married and I went to her bachelorette party in Vegas and we had to get a hotel room and spend money on drinks and blah, blah, and everything like that. And I had a boyfriend at the time, so I was planning on bringing him to the wedding, but we broke up and then I was going to bring a different date. And the day before the wedding, she says, well, I don't know who this person is, so you can't bring this person. I'd already RSVP'd, I'd already sent a gift. And she was like, oh, you know, I don't know if he would be comfortable because we all know each other and I didn't know who you were going to bring. And so I ended up not going because I was like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to go if I can't bring the date that I want to. So I think that people assume that if you're not married, that you're just going to come by yourself, but it's not fun. So if someone allows me to bring a date, I'm going to bring whoever I want to. That could be a gay guy. That could be a guy that I just met on the street. It could
Girl, you can bring Snuffleupagus. It'd be fine. We just talk about comfortable. She's not giving her a pap smear. He's come witness her vows. Like, ew.
I know how it is, like when you look back and people don't want to have like people that they don't know at their wedding, but you know, a lot of times you'll have a married couple and in 10 years it won't be the same person by their side either. It changes. But getting back to paying, I think it comes down to picking your friends better. Obviously, whoever it is that didn't show up was not a good friend in the first place. So I guess it doesn't matter if you're asking for the money because if someone just didn't show up to my wedding, unless they had a really good excuse, which if they had a really good excuse, I wouldn't want to charge them. But if they didn't, I would just like cross them off my list.
Yep. You guys remember the Sex and the City episode where Carrie Bradshaw's really expensive shoes got stolen at her married friend's place and she asked her married friend to pay for it, and the married friend said, I'm not going to subsidize your choices.
That was rude. That was very rude. They got stolen at her place.
Yeah. But what Carrie had to do was she sent her a bill, an itemized bill of all the wedding costs she sunk in, all the birthday gifts she gave for her kids. So it's almost like single people are subsidizing the choices of married people. What are married people doing for single people other than making them feel bad for not being married?
I love that, Jocelyn.
Well, I gotta say, I've taken in many a single person. They have stayed with me. I've helped them move. I've helped single moms watch their kids. I've introduced them to people. I've helped them get jobs. So like, I get what you're saying.
Holly, I love that you referred to us single people as like an oppressed minority. Like, I take them in, I give them welfare, I make sure they eat. Like, you know how single people are, they don't know how to do anything. So thank you for being our best ally.
Thank you, Holly.
I'm here to help. I'm here to help. No, but I'm just like, I really truly believe, like at the end of the day, a wedding is an expensive party you throw for yourself. You throw, or if you don't have it like that, don't spend it like that. And let me tell you, Felicia, I had someone cancel on my wedding the morning of my wedding. But this guy called me and I was dumb enough to answer the phone because this was so long ago. And he actually tried to go on and on for like a half an hour why he couldn't come. I was like, I have to get dressed for my wedding. I have to go. No gift, no nothing. I was like, like cross out. Like
I was gonna say that's pretty bad. I was gonna say that's almost like when you're about to go on stage and your friends text you. They're like, "Can I still get a ticket? Can I still come? Is it sold out?" But a wedding is much bigger. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to compare the two.
That's funny though, because every time I've done a show, somebody would be like, girl, I'm circling the block. Save me a seat down front. Like, what? You know what I write back? It could be my own family. I'll be like, who dis? Send. Who dis? Send. And just like, no.
That has to be a segment, by the way.
Who dis, right? All right, well, listen, let's move on. Let's move on to Make It Right. Okay? Make It Right. I was reading yesterday about how, I didn't even know this. There's so much crazy news going on. I didn't even know this until yesterday, that in New Jersey in November, it's on the ballot for them to vote to legalize adult use of marijuana.
Go New Jersey.
And everyone's like, day trip to Jersey, right? But I'm like, okay, fine. But make it right in the sense that last year, well, okay, in 2018, there were 2,000 marijuana arrests and that are serving now in like penitentiaries.
Wow.
2,000 people. And the average sentence for pot trafficking, selling a little bit of weed, is 29 months. That's 2.5 years of your life. So imagine that you're sitting in jail, like you're sitting in jail in Indiana or somewhere, and there's someone over in Colorado just getting fat rich off of selling marijuana. And I just find that absolutely insane. Like, so I kind of feel like, well, I'm on board what Cory Booker wants to do. Cory Booker is like, all these people that are in jail for pot, they need to get out, and we need to give them the licenses first to sell pot. These are the first people who should be given that, whatever, you need like you have to go through hoops, whatever, license to sell marijuana. Because, you know, Black Americans are like 12, 13 to 15% of this country, yet we make up about 30% of, no, it's even higher. No, 84% of people serving time for marijuana arrests are people of color.
So let me just jump in. As in California, we've had medical cannabis forever. We've also had recreational cannabis. It's county by county, but nearly 66,000 marijuana convictions in LA County will be dismissed, thanks in part to state laws that paved the way for the action. So these felonies go back to 1961, about 4,000 misdemeanors. So California has already been doing this. I mean, we have a governor who has gel in his hair. He's very progressive. You need to get a progressive governor. New Jersey governor is pretty good, but this has been happening in California. Like we automatically knew that this was an unfair thing, so we corrected it.
Yeah, big ups to California. To be honest with you, I find alcohol infinitely more damaging to people and society than marijuana. I've never seen anybody in a marijuana fight. I've never seen that.
Right.
I have a question for Felicia. If marijuana is much more acceptable, do you think comedy clubs will have weed instead of alcohol ever?
Oh dear, that'd be bad for comedy.
I'm going to ask Dhaya, the nerd. I never understood the science behind why smoking. I guess it's the nicotine that gives you lung cancer, and marijuana doesn't have nicotine. Is that what happens? Because why is not marijuana smoke dangerous for your health?
It's less dangerous because it doesn't have tar and nicotine, but it's still impacting your alveoli. It's still combustion, and you're still creating these, carbon molecules in your lungs. And so there is still this high heat kind of thing that will impact you, that will impact your health. But because the FDA hasn't cleared marijuana use for the country, we have very limited scientific studies on how weed affects the body. So because it's state by state, we don't have like the NIH to do studies. So smoking anything is bad. Like if you smoked a pine cone, you'd probably fuck up your sinuses too. So any kind of inhaling and combustion is bad. But you could have edibles at the comedy club. You could have like a ginger ale, except it's like, ginger ale Mary Jane or something. Like, who knows?
Well, do you think, I mean, I'm not a proponent of marijuana because I always felt like if I wanted to be depressed and eat a lot, I could do that by myself. Cocaine, on the other hand. I'm
actually so happy to be here in Oregon because weed is legalized. I mean, when I first went to the dispensary, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, what? Because my first exposure to marijuana was in college, where you're inhaling into lungs, and it made me cough. So I really appreciate the explanation. Yes, this was doing bad shit to my lungs. But then I had all these edibles in strawberry, and then strawberry lemonade, and blueberry, and then you can have them in a cheesecake. I was like, get the F out of here. So
I just wanted to follow up. Do you think edibles and marijuana will make a good combination with comedy clubs? Because I feel like you don't laugh more on marijuana. I think
exactly. I think it's gonna make our audience dead.
But there's kind of that marijuana giggle, like the Cheech and Chong giggle. Like, so maybe they'll just laugh low level at everything, but also
it's a low level chuckle. It's a low level chuckle.
But also, I mean, you're not going to have as much security, because no one is going to have 2 drinks and suddenly be like, bro, let's fight. I find that like alcohol use does that to people. People want to fight. Women end up yelling things. Like, all genders end up being dumb when they drink.
2 women in a drunken fight is one of the scariest things you will ever see.
So because I am such an expert now on marijuana, so I'm going to chime in on this. So there are different types of marijuana that have different effects on you. So I think in the comedy clubs, we should give the energizing blend, so they'll be more energized and they'll laugh more. Just mix out the calming blends of marijuana.
Yeah, I don't know. There are only 2 types of marijuana, and they mix. I think that's a lot of marketing.
Are there 2 types? Are there 2 types?
Sativa, and I always forget the other one.
Indica.
Sativa and indica. But within sativa and indica, there are also different strains that create different effects, Felicia.
See, I didn't even know all that.
Well, if you get one that if you make one that makes me like younger and skinnier, I'll take that one.
Right? If they can give you one that doesn't make you hungry, that's like an appetite. Can you imagine if they made edibles that were appetite suppressants?
I actually took an edible once because I have trouble sleeping, and someone suggested one, and they stay in your system for a really long time. And I took it late. I have 2 very funny edible stories, but I'll tell you one. And then I woke up the next morning, and I was literally sitting on my floor eating, and my husband walked in, and I didn't want to tell him I took an edible, and he's like, okay, and I'm like, oh, I just had a bad night. I mean, it was like 7 in the morning. I was still high.
Oh my God. I always hear stories about people's pets getting into their edibles. And then they're like scared. They're like, is my cat going to be okay?
It's an epidemic, actually. People are throwing out their hash brownies, and the dogs are eating them.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. All right. Well, listen, that is crazy. But my last word on that before we move on is just make it right. Get the people out of jail that are marijuana arrests and let them sell. You know what I mean? Like, this could be the answer to our economy, but just make it right. That's all I care.
Economy. That's right. Because in the pandemic, what we can do is get high.
Hey, that's to me. The pandemic,
Netflix and chill.
The pandemic and edibles to me are like a subject predicate agreement. Like, that's just like goes right in there. So moving on to giving me joy. Megan Thee Stallion is giving me joy. Megan Thee Stallion, not the, it's the, there's 2 E's in the middle with the. It's a Thee Stallion. She did an op-ed piece for the New York Times where she basically talked about how we need to protect Black women. And at first, I have to admit, I became like very emotional because Megan Thee Stallion, first of all, she's only like 25, 26 years old. You know, she just lost her mother last year. Okay. Her mother was only 50. She died of cancer. She died. So Megan Thee Stallion was blowing up and her mother was dying.
Wow. So
I already feel for her, like on that. And this little asshat troll shot her in the foot. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you guys know the story of that guy, that rapper, shot her in the foot? And so she wrote this op-ed piece for New York Times about protecting Black women. But this one quote really got me. And she goes, wouldn't it be nice if we weren't inundated with negative sexist comments about Black women? You know, and that really just got me because it really made me think back. And as early as I can remember, I've always heard very negative comments about Black women. So to see this very young woman encapsulated so tightly really gives me joy. And I know that she suffered through what she's suffered through and she's continuing, but to see that voice coming from her for a younger generation just really makes my heart feel good. And I think a lot of people really don't understand how much Black women are not protected. I don't think people really get it. I mean, just me personally in my life, I called the police in 2002. I was assaulted by a cab driver, physically assaulted by a cab driver, had a bloody nose, bloody mouth, black eye. Police, they said, we're not even gonna look for him. It was a male and female cop team that rolled up and they were like, hon, that's not even assault. A punch, a slap, that's not anything. They didn't even get out of the car, they drove off. I saved that complaint in my wallet for 15 years. When I felt low, I looked at it to remember how far I've come. In 2013, I was with my daughter on the subway and a man grabbed my 6-year-old daughter on the subway. It's like every parent's nightmare. He refused to let go. I had to fight this man to get my daughter back. My baby son was in the middle in the stroller going back and forth. People were like, didn't anybody else help you on the train? I don't know, because I was just slapping the shit out of the school because that's what a mom will do. You know what I mean? And I think any woman will do if she's watching even somebody else's child, niece, whatever. Went to the police. They refused to even look for him. They said, we're not going to look for him. They said, ma'am, you said he hugged her. That's not assault. That's just a hug. Yeah. So my point is that you think there's laws, you think there's rules, but the goalpost is moved when you ask them to make good on what those laws and rules are. Wow. So my hat is off to Megan Thee Stallion, and she has a warrior spirit, and she's a beautiful spirit, and I have the same spirit. And I'm gonna keep going, and I want everybody else to, but I want everybody to keep remembering and reminding this country and our system that as women, I don't care what women you are, white women, black women, Spanish women, Asian women, we count, we matter, and we do need to be protected.
You know, so, Hollie, I'm sorry you had to go through this experience, and it's making me think it'll be helpful. Do you remember during the Me Too movement where all these women came out with hashtag their Me Too stories, and men were just blown away that all these women whom they knew personally, so they trusted and knew weren't lying, had all these personal stories of being Me Too. I think it'd be actually pretty helpful to have a Me Too movement for Black people telling us these personal stories. So now that I'm hearing this, I'm like, no wonder you want to do away with the fucking cops.
Yeah, I walk past that precinct every day and I feel infuriated. And what was craziest thing, the 2 cops, when my daughter was grabbed, the 2 cops were women. They were two Black women.
What?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. I'll never forget, one of the cops tried to shame me. She said, what kind of mother sits apart from her daughter on the subway? What kind of mother does that? It took everything in my power to hold it together.
Right, you're gonna assault that cop and be like, you know what? Another cop did a punch and a slap. It's not an assault.
I felt like I was going to cry. I felt like I was going to cry because as a mother, you know, as a mom, Felicia, the idea that you can't protect your child, that's your worst nightmare.
I literally have nightmares about that. Like literally, I wake up, it's like,
yes,
you can't find your child in the store or something.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, but to me, this all ties in today because it's like Black women are not protected, but like, look at this plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah. Well,
when Black lives don't matter, no one's life matters. Do you see what I'm talking about?
But white women aren't protected either. And
they aren't. You're right.
You know, when you look at a murder rate, there are more white women murdered than there are Black women. I feel like, I know this whole thing with Kamala Harris, I posted something about it and everyone's saying, oh, she can't talk out because then she'd be called a bitch. And, you know, the whole being a Black woman. And I'm like, that's a white woman too. It's not a Black woman problem. It's like an every woman problem. Like when I speak up, I'm also considered like a bitch, or white women all the time are being molested and shot. And it's time that we all, you know, it's this Me Too movement, but it's not just being sexually harassed, it's being harassed and not listened to. And able to speak up and say our point of view and our opinion without being called, you know, bitch.
I had such an experience like this yesterday. So a doctor I went to actually had burned my face, and yesterday I decided I decided this a few days ago, but I was procrastinating confronting him about it because I think it's the good girl conditioning of you don't really speak up and make a male, especially a male doctor, wrong. But I decided to do it. You know, I had a conversation with him, but I did the sandwich that I was taught to do with men. You start off with praise, Thank you, Stallion.
I don't know. I'm gonna take some notes. I don't know this. Okay.
You don't know this.
It's for parenting also, by the way.
Oh yeah, so cute. Start them with praise. Tell them what they did wrong. Ask them how they can solve it. You ask them to give you the solution. Don't be like, I'm going to tell you what to do. And then thank you so much. You're amazing. Is that what you do in parenting too?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's also like it's always I feel. It's not you. It's I feel. So it's our problem.
Look at that. Praise, criticism, how to.
You're amazing. Yeah, you can't be your own.
Oh my God.
That's gonna be on our trailer.
What's crazy though is that men will just say like, "Don't do that shit again." Men will just be like, "Don't do that again."
Oh, even if they're upset about the girls.
Yeah, like men don't go through all these hoops of praise, and they just be like, "Don't do that shit again." Okay.
I want to.
I don't even think about it.
I do want to chime in though, because all women are affected by this, but within women, some of us have more privilege than others. So in terms of gender pay, Black women, Latinx, Latina women are paid the least compared to a man doing the same job. White women are paid much more than that. Asian women were paid almost as much as men. So in that dynamic, it's all women, but Asian women have privilege in that sense. So when men talk over women, it's a problem for all women. But in particular, it's a problem for Black women, because if Black women speak up in any way, like there's actually studies that neutral faces of Black people are perceived as more hostile. So you could just be like this, and they'll think that you're mad. There are
automatic resting bitch face for the perceiver.
Yeah. So there's specific instances where other races are impacted more. So I know that when I negotiate for a salary, I'm better off than my white women colleagues or my Black women colleagues. But if a Black woman speaks up in a meeting and is assertive and strong, that's going to be different than maybe if a Chinese American woman does it, because there's different stereotypes about who we are as a culture. And so when I walk into a meeting in Silicon Valley, people already assume that I'm good at math. It doesn't matter if I am or not, but when a Black woman walks into a Silicon Valley meeting, people are like, how did she get that job? Like, I wonder if she's someone's assistant. So even within women, we all have different points of privilege and different points of more struggle. And I think that's what the women's movement has to realize. We have to lend out a hand when we can and ask for help when we can.
When I walk into a meeting, they just automatically assume I'm dumb.
Stop it.
I'd rather go with the math.
I don't know how much of the pay disparities that we have automatic respect as Asian women. I don't think we came in with that automatic respect. It's all our fucking tiger moms telling us to be doctors and lawyers that has skewed our salary compared to the other races in our favor. I don't think that we have automatically a greater advantage in perception.
So it's for the same job. So if a doctor is paid a dollar, an Asian woman is paid 90 cents for that dollar. So for other races, so it's for the same job.
Yeah,
so
not paying for lunch or dinner.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So listen.
So that means when guys go on dates with Asian women, if they want their money back, it should just be 10 cents on the dollar back.
That was a good little ending to that. I like that. Thank you. I like that. I did not know that, the disparity with because I know, I mean, definitely. I worked a job one time for a production company where my immediate supervisors thought I had an attitude and I had not said anything.
Wow.
Said absolutely nothing. And they're like, we don't want you to get an attitude. And I was like, I don't want you to get an attitude either. I thought we was eating donuts and drinking coffee. I didn't know what was going on. But all right, but listen, let's move on to the very last thing. No respect. They're closing Dangerfield's Comedy Club. It's like, is it, Felicia, has it started? Is this the beginning?
It's just devastating. As you guys all know, the comedy world has been devastated by this pandemic, and why we can't open and why we can't perform and restaurants can open and other places can open is just mind-boggling and just not understandable. We can do it safely, just as safely as a restaurant. So unfortunately, Dangerfield's just, it's a big place. It just,
50 years, 1969, 1969.
End of an
And
era.
they're the building though, so I'm a little puzzled as to why they're doing this, because they don't have to pay rent. The owner owns this comedy club as a.
Well, I saw signs that he was trying to rent it out on a monthly basis.
$25,000 a month. That's what I saw.
So I added that up. That's like 40 people at a $20 cover every night.
Yeah, you got to pull in about $800, before taxes, everything. But like even before you pay anybody, So I just feel bad because I do wonder why comedy clubs can't open, but other places can. I mean, no one has really explained it to me, so I don't really know the logic.
When you're laughing, your particles actually shoot out a lot more. But at a dinner, you're going to be laughing too. So it's not.
I'll tell you what it is, that the other industries have sued the government and have gotten open, because there's no difference between working out and a bowling alley and a lot of these other places. Mm-hmm. And they just have to put pressure on the government. And we're literally like, listen, they're like, how many establishments in Manhattan? 5 or 6. And how many, I can't say bowling alleys because I don't know any bowling alleys, I think 2, but they're a stronger entity. I mean, we're not their top concern, but we're putting pressure on them. Camry Cruz from Cutie Days doing an amazing job, and all the comedy club owners are getting together, and we're starting to try to make a difference. So hopefully,
you guys should get all the lawyer comedians to file a lawsuit.
You're hired, Jocelyn.
A lot of us.
I just feel like there's got to be some kind of way.
I have a question. So is outdoor comedy, if a comedy club sponsors something outdoors, is that still not okay in New York? Because they're doing outdoor shows in San Francisco and LA. Our big comedy clubs aren't open. Some of the comedy clubs are open in LA doing outdoor shows. Is that possible in New York or no?
It's technically illegal. Any outdoor show is technically illegal. So we risk losing your liquor license.
Okay.
And so since we're below a restaurant, it's just too risky for us. But they haven't seemed to be cracking down. People are doing it. Some people are doing it by renting out private venues, but I don't know why that's any different. Listen, I want to respect the law, and I want to don't want to do anything that will be harmful to the community. This is a horrible pandemic that is killing people, and if schools, like I've said this before, any indication of what's going on, this is a highly contagious, spreading by air. And as much as I love comedy and as much as I'd love to be open, we do need to worry first, but we want to be fair. We want to be fair. If it's okay for Equinox to be open, it should be okay for Dangerfields to be open.
I just read that a big fitness center, they were doing spin classes, and people had masks on, and a bunch of people got coronavirus. So gyms are already saying, it's obvious. Like if you're breathing hard and you're sweating and people are on exercise, like, of course it's going to happen. So I predict there's going to be another shutdown where they're targeting gyms and other things and saying, we got to close them back down.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to winter in New York City.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm quite concerned about what this winter will bring. Because once the outdoor stuff, like, we had all those restaurants, those outdoor things, that's all going to be going away as it gets cold.
They've got,
what I mean?
So they can last for a little longer.
Well, what they're doing is they're enclosing everything and putting, and I'm like, well,
isn't that the whole point?
There's some ventilation though, like certain.
You put 4 walls on it, whether you're out, can see the sky, you're still inside.
Yeah, you're still inside a structure that's got, so I'm kind of like, I don't really know, but honestly, we could have been, we could have been done with this by now.
Yeah.
We could have been done. I swear to God, I get other places, right? Other places have gotten back up, haven't they?
Well, we thought Europe had gotten it under control, but Europe is skyrocketing. But there have been some places that have gotten it under control. Some of the Asian countries, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me like everywhere where they had these anti-mask bowls are the places where they just could not, they never got a handle on it.
Well, a lot of them put them on lockdown for 3 weeks, like Israel.
Yeah, it was very draconian methods that got them to really get it under control. I mean, at first we thought Wuhan was ridiculous, right? What a violation of human rights, but like they have no cases anymore.
Well, let's just end on a positive note. I am in the city. I'm back in the city. And I have to say, it's beautiful here. I mean, you're hearing such horrible things. I mean, the most incredible thing that's happened as a result of this is the outdoor dining. It's like you're in Europe. You walk down the street and you can't get parking because they took all the parking spots. But
yeah, you can't park anywhere now. That's over.
But the outdoor dining is like streets and streets and people out on the streets, and the people are nice. And there is unfortunately an uptick in you see a little bit more homelessness around, and so that's unfortunate. But Dangerfield's horrible, but the city will. I love New York, and I don't think it's as dire as people are saying it is. We just need to get this pandemic under control and get everything opened.
Yes.
And outdoor dining apparently is here to stay, and they made it permanent.
I know. And just think about it. Think about it next year when hopefully this is gone, and the restaurants could stay open, and then they could have the outdoor open. They're going to have like much more capacity. It's going to be amazing. I won't be having any problems getting a reservation anywhere.
Well, listen, on that note, I just want to say thank you to everybody, right? Are we cool? Are we good?
Well,
are we good?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, listen, everybody, thank you so much for watching Broadish. I am Hollie Harper.
Felicia Madison.
Jocelyn Chia.
Dhaya Lakshminarayanan.
Please subscribe to our channel, and thank you so much and have a great day.